Hi, I'm Raul. Thanks for tuning in. I've been crazy about motorcycling and composing and performing original music since I was a kid, since I can remember. When it comes to motorcycling, I've been doing it for over 50 years. I road raced for 10 of those years at various tracks in Canada and the States. During that time, I road raced in production and modified production 1 and 2. Formula 1 and 2, Battle of the Twins, endurance racing. I road raced with both 2-strokes and 4-strokes. Did that for 10 years, won a couple. One of the ones that I won was in Battle of the Twins on this bike that you now see, which is a 650cc R1250R from 1982. That was my first BMW, and I think it still looks gorgeous. I thought at the time it was one of the most striking bikes ever. And I liked it so much that I decided that I wanted to make an ultimate version of it. Something, that was a little more than the original was, but still kept some of the same lines. So my first go at that was with this bike, which was a 1991 R100 GS, which I, as you see, converted and made to look quite a bit, or as much as possible, like the R65LS. I kept that GS for 29 years and did over 250,000 kilometers on it. And then in 2019, just before COVID hit, I decided to get an R1250R. Picked it up in the spring of 2020, and the first thing I did was get an Akrapovič exhaust for it. And then I adapted the fairing off an LS, had to cut it down quite a bit to make it fit onto the R1250R. But so that was the start of making the ultimate, what I thought the really ultimate LS. But then I decided to address the 3 weak points on this bike, which is just a phenomenal bike. I mean, it's so underrated. People have no idea how great this bike actually is. It does have a few weak spots. In the previous years, at least, the years that the 2020 and 2021, and I think even 2022, the headlight was atrocious. So the first thing it got was a set of LED headlight bulbs, and then the only other 2 weak spots, if you will, were the weight, which I tried to address by getting a bunch of carbon fiber, each of which basically weighs half of what the original components weighed. The fairing is actually also carbon fiber. I had a fellow 3D scan and reproduce the original fairing that I had, which was in fiberglass, that I had cut down. So again, weighs less than half of what the original piece did. So all of that to try and address the second shortcoming, which is the fact that it is a heavy bike, and I wish it was a little lighter, but I'd have to give up things like a center stand, which I'm not willing to do. And then the last thing that was a bit of a weak spot, only if you're really going to push the definition, was the suspension. I opted for the non-electronic adjustable suspension because I knew that sooner or later I was going to want to replace it with something high-end. And I knew that there would be more options for non-electronic adjustment than for the electronic version. So I went out and I got Andreani front forks, which are fully adjustable for compression, rebound dampening, preload, all of that fun stuff, which the original forks didn't have. And I got a Wilbers rear shock, which was the one that was recommended on all the forums that I consulted. So I figured that by having now done these upgrades, I've addressed the last sort of weak spot on the bike, and I feel that it really is now worthy of being called the ultimate LS carbon edition. So it's one of a kind. There's no other one exact like this. In fact, even a dead stock R1250R, in the 5 seasons since I've been riding this bike, I have yet to see one other one on the road, either here in Canada or in the States, where we go almost every other weekend. I have yet to see a single one in 5 years. That's it. I wanted to share this with you first of all, to sort of highlight that it really is a bike that some of you should probably consider. It never gets mentioned on any of the lists pretty much, and it's a pity that it's overlooked, because it truly is a remarkable machine. And I think that the few modifications that I've done to it make it that much better, and really do finally make my dream of having what I consider an ultimate LS come to life. So that's it. Thanks for checking in. And if you're curious about some of the other stuff I'm into, check out some of the music videos that are on my channel. Ride safe, and we'll see you again. Cheers.